So this one is again a residential building. I think I have shown this drawing during our initial class, but that was an complete electrical drawing. So this is how we got the drawing from the client. Okay, so you can see this is the ground floor, and this is actually a complete interior plan. Okay, so when you receive the interior plan, that would be very useful for you to prepare the electrical drawing. And as you can see, this one is actually ground floor, and this one is a first floor plan. So here in the ground floor, veranda, formal living, passage. This is actually family living area, dining area, kitchen area, bedroom one, that attached toilet, master bedroom, uh, bedroom two, work area, and kitchen area. So all this particular room have interior details along with this drawing. Okay, you can, when you scroll down, you can see all these details, but I don't think normally architects will be providing all these details during the initial time. They will be providing the architectural plan, structural plan, and the elevation drawing. But most of the architects will not be preparing the interior drawing. They don't have any interior designers with them. So obviously the client might be approaching an interior designer, and he will be sharing this architectural drawing he received from the architects, and they will be preparing the interiors as per the architectural drawing. Okay, so here we initially received this drawing from an architect, and they were not having much details regarding the interior equipments like TV units, furnitures, and it was actually different. So I can show the particular drawing that we received from the architect at the initial conditions. 1 minute, so that you can understand the difference between normal architectural drawing and interior drawing. One minute. Okay, so this was actually the initial drawing that we received from the client. Okay, sorry, architect. So you can see the site plan. So they have shown the site plan and all the other details, existing buildings and the proposed residential building area. Okay, so this was the site plan and elevation drawing. Okay, so this is the elevation drawing that we received from the architect. Then this was the actual initial plan when we got a plan from the architect. You can see the formal living, passage, dining, family living. Okay, and the bedroom details. So this drawing was particularly prepared by the architect, and the drawing I initially shown to you was prepared by an interior team. Okay, so the plan is same, exactly the same, but the interior details are different. You can see display with shurak here, coffee table, the formal living size and dimension, everything is same, but the arrangement of furniture has been changed, and you can see an LCD unit here. But initially, when we received the plan, they proposed the TV unit here. You can see that, right? Okay, so that is the main difference. You can see the kitchen area and all. You can see the fridge, microwave, and sink, all other details in this particular plan. But when we receive the interior plan, you can see this one actually includes the cupboard details. That's why you are not able to see the full details in the kitchen. Okay, so all these room have elevation details also. You can see the kitchen area. Okay, this is the top view of the kitchen. This is a side view of kitchen section A. Okay, that means this side, this particular side. Okay, so you can see all the details in the particular elevation details. You can see dishwasher, microwave oven, and a coffee maker, water purifier. Okay, so in this particular side, where all we have to provide the sockets, you will get the details from this particular drawing itself. Say, and the height also you will get to know the height of the sockets. So here, these equipments are actually concealed. So you have to provide a socket behind these equipments and switches outside the that particular part. For example, you can provide the switches here for all these three equipments. Coffee maker also you can provide a socket. For this you can provide a socket and switch here, not an issue. Okay, and coffee water purifier also you can provide a socket and switch together, not an issue. Okay, then coming to the next section, that is kitchen part B. Part B, you can see we will be having a exhaust hood, kitchen hood, a hob is there, induction cooktop is there. The same elevation with the doors open. You can see the same elevation with the doors open. Okay, so you can see a rack inside the cabinets, gas cylinders provision. So all these panels will be having in LED spotlight within the interior design itself. They have provided provision for the LED spotlights. Okay, you can see. So obviously you can see this kitchen hood. So it needs either a 6 ampere or 10 ampere socket based on the equipment load. Okay, so how much power does a uh, kitchen chimney hood consume? What is the standard load? It depends upon the product manufacturers. So can you guess the electrical load for a kitchen chimney hood? 300, 200 watts. So I think a 10 ampere socket or 6 ampere socket would be enough. But where we can provide this particular socket and switch, do we need to provide the switch and socket together, or socket near to the kitchen hood and switch separately? How can we provide separately? So that would be better if you provide the socket and switch separately. Okay, so in this particular project, the client have already shared all the equipment details so that we can find out the actual load of the equipments. So after this, we can check the particular equipment's load. So before that, uh, so this is kitchen elevation C. So you can see this is actually a open kitchen in this area. You can see this open space to the dining area. Actually, this one comes in this part. Okay, so you can see a breakfast unit. So the kitchen is actually open from this part, okay, to the dining area. I mean, like a small partition for this area. Like you can see directly, you can see dining area from the kitchen. So this area will be having a hanging light. That is why the interior team have provided a hanging light in this partition. You can see. So this lighting details has been proposed by the interior team itself. So remaining all other details we have to propose, or you have to provide according to the ceiling plan. If there is ceiling plan, you have to provide the details according to the ceiling plan. Okay, and so to start with the formal living, this is actually double height area. Just assume this is a double height area. So how many number of light we need to provide? What is your suggestion? Like we can go with one by room. Okay, so in the veranda area, what all things you suggest? Sit out area or veranda area to the entrance living room. So what all things do you prefer here? And we can check the drawing that we have prepared as per the client's requirement. Okay, so I just want you to give some inputs regarding this veranda area and formal living and goes on. pendant light 3 pieces. Okay, pendant light 3 pieces. So we will be providing this pendant light equally. See, in that case, we can't provide the what we say ceiling fan. If we provide three pendant lights, we need to provide the three pendant light in equal distance. So in that case, you might need to provide a ceiling fan in between the pendant lights, or you can provide a wall fan. Okay, so that would be a good option. Wall fan. Otherwise, you can provide a socket at 20 centimeter height, and in case some guest has arrived and he's sitting in the veranda area, you can provide a floor standing fan you can provide, or tower fans. So one option is to provide the ceiling fan in between the pendant lights, and other option is like we can provide a wall fan. Okay, we can check that in the actual drawing. So this is actually the option. And any other switch ports is required here? No, veranda area TV is not required, right? Do we require the TV in veranda area? This is actually an external area, open area. The door starts from the formal living entrance. So this is open. You can provide Hassan and Daniel said, we can provide three lights. We can provide one calling bell switch or video door phone as such, right? If you're providing a video door phone, we need to provide the provisions for this calling bell or this video door phone. So I think we can provide it in the pillar. This one is actually pillar. This one is actually pillar. This one is also pillar. So you can provide a calling bell switch or the video door phone uh, as a yeah, CCTV camera would be required. CCTV camera would be required. Uh, Here just we are just starting from the veranda area. Okay, we will be going to the next room. So veranda is actually the entrance area. So I don't think we don't need a socket here for the washing machine. You can provide a socket for any other utilities. Like if someone is sitting here, if you want to use if you want to charge the mobile phones and all, we can provide. And if you want to clean this area using a vacuum cleaner, you can provide a 16 ampere socket at a 20 centimeter or 30 centimeter height. Okay, so I think that would be enough. And in case if you're having all manual switches, and you will be providing a calling bell switch here. What about this area? Which type of switches you will be providing here at the entrance? For all the three lights, you will be providing either one switch, or each for each light fixtures you will be providing individual switches. That means you have to switch it on by one. Okay, so most of the cases these three pendant lights will be turned on with one switches. So you can provide one switch, but that one switch should be a two-way switch, right? It should be a two-way switch, because a person who is entering the house, if it is during the night time, he need to switch it off from inside also. Okay, so we'll be providing a two-way switch here and another two-way switch inside. Okay, so when he's going out during night time, he can switch it on from inside, and when he comes out, he can switch it off. Same vice versa also. If he's coming to the building during night time, or to the house night time, he can switch it on from the outside and he can turn it off after entering the building or a house. Okay, so that has been completed. So veranda area completed. So what about the living area? So this one is a formal living area. So whenever guests are coming to this building, they will be accessing this space. So it can be switch inside the parlor. Okay, parlor means okay. Anyway, what about this formal living area? What all things we need to provide in the formal living area? Okay, fine, fine, fine. Yeah, so four is a slide, two free or floor standing lights, wall bracket slide. Yeah, that would be good, I think. Like four is a slide and floor standing light also, that is also good. Looks good as per the, like you will be getting a luxurious feel in this formal living room. And what about this TV unit they have shown here, like else? Yeah, you can one problem is like that this area is having double height. I mean the height is coming around 6 meter. Okay, so obviously the client is intended to provide a chandelier light here at the center, so you can't provide a ceiling fan here. At the center part you will be having a chandelier light, I mean a hanging light, like luxury features. So the option is to provide a wall fan here. I think we have to provide two wall fans, right? If here we are having windows, so in between you can provide the wall fan provision. So you can provide a wall fan here with oscillation to right and left. I think this part also is okay. So you'll be getting equal oscillation to left and right. And so here also you need to provide the wall fan. If you for that you have to get the details of the window. The window is having full height, you can provide the wall fan. The if you're having sufficient space to provide the wall fan above the window, then you can provide. So you need to get all those details. Okay, so do, do you need air conditioning in this formal living? If air conditioning is required, which space you would be suggesting? If you're going with a split AC, okay, if you're going with a split AC, which side you prefer, left or right? I mean this side or this side? So to understand all these details, right, sir, to understand all these details, we have interior plan of this formal living room. Okay, so we can go to the interior plan. So yeah, this one is actually the this particular wall, LCD units elevation, interior details. You can see the TV unit. So this is actually wooden frame. Okay, wooden frame. So the TV is actually looks concealed. Okay, so if you are planning to right side of connecting outdoor unit, yeah, so that would be easier to connect the outdoor unit to route the pipings and all. So right side would be better. So check the opposite wall, the shoe rack unit having wallpapers. This is actually wallpapers. So this is actually the wooden finishing for the shoe rack and the, what do you say, showcase unit with small LED lights, small spotlights. So anyway, if you place the air conditioning unit, indoor unit here, this walls aesthetics look will be different. Okay, so anyway, it is better to provide the air conditioning with the right hand side so that we can provide the outdoor unit very close to it. Okay, so coming to the TV unit. So coming to the TV unit, you can see this is a wooden frame in between the what we say, uh, a cabinet under the just and coming just under the TV unit. So you can't take wires exposed from the TV and to the channel converter or this decoder or this setup post receiver. So obviously you will be providing the setup post receiver inside this black tinted glass. You can open it and you can access the decoder or this receiver. Okay, so but this decoder and this television should have a connection, right? Either HDMI cable or this audio video cables. How do you plan to connect between the TV and this setup box receiver? So only we are discussing all these details only because we are having this interior elevation detail. If you're not having all this detail, you'll be simply providing socket provision and you will be going to the next step. But right now we have these interior details. We have exact dimension and all the wooden frame details. So how do you plan to connect from the decoder to TV? How you plan to connect? You can't take the wires outside the. Anyway, you have to conceal it. So what is a solution that how you can connect using the HDMI cable? we have male to female converters to connect the HDMI cable. So we will be providing some converter switches behind this setup post. So from the setup post, we'll be connecting through this converters. So it will come actually through the concealed wall. It will come behind the television. So you can connect from the television's HDMI port. So the wires will not be visible. So that is an option. Okay. Otherwise, you have to give a provision when the interior guys are doing all these things. You have to give a provision to feed the lines from the decoder to or from the receiver to television. That is another option. And that way the wires will not be visible. Okay. And as you know, you can't provide switches and socket together here. If you're providing switches and socket together, it will be difficult to turn on the TV or turn on the set-top box receiver. So here we have an option to provide the switches separately and socket near to the units and switches separately. That is why 2-inch pipe PVC concealing wall. Yeah, yes, that is the best way to provide the connection. So here switches can be provided either in this wallpaper area. Okay, right or left, anywhere you can suggest, because this area will not be having good access. So this area should be good between the wooden frames. So for the switches, you can provide here and sockets behind the tape television and the set-top box receiver. So at least you have to provide 2 sockets. 3 sockets would be good if you can provide 3 sockets. Yeah, the client can connect an audio system, something like home theater system, along with this television. Okay, so at least 2 or 3 sockets shall be provided near the television area. Okay, so coming back to the floor plan, so you will need a chandelier light, 4 recessed lights, floor standing lights, an air conditioner, sockets for the television unit, 2-way switches and 1-way switches for the interior lighting. Okay, so you'll be having a false ceiling plan here. So based on the false ceiling plan, you can provide the strip lights or LED curve lights and this recessed light location. Anyway, it should, the area, the formal living area should get uniform lighting. Okay, so for this particular plan, lighting design is not necessary. I mean, software calculation is not necessary. Anyway, you'll be providing 4 number of lights, right? You will be getting sufficient lighting, more than 200 lights you will be getting anyway. That is not an issue. But if you want to give all much details, you can do the lighting calculation using the expected number of light fixtures. Okay, that would be good if you can provide that also, but not necessary. Okay, since it is a residential area and you are providing, anyway you're providing 4 lights and you'll be providing decorative lamps also for the wall area. Okay, so that would be sufficient. So how can you provide lighting in the passage area? Which one you will suggest? Ceiling light or wall light? Anyway, in between this passage area, you have to provide a socket provisions also for the cleaning purpose. Like somebody will come with a vacuum cleaner, so you would have a provision for connecting this vacuum cleaner. So in the passage area, you can provide some sockets, like a 10 ampere sockets or a 16 ampere socket. Okay. So which type of lighting do you prefer in the passage area? Ceiling light. So obviously you'll be having a ceiling plan here anyway. So based on this type of ceiling, you can provide either 1 or 2 lights. 1 or 2 lights would be enough for the passage area, right? Okay, so the controlling switch for the passage light, you can have 2 options. That is, you can provide a switch at the entry area, either 2-way switch, like you can turn it off after reaching this walkway passage area, like after reaching this family living or this passage, you can turn it off. So that is according to the client's interest. So obviously it would be better if you provide 2-way switches or timer switches, something like that, or motion sensor switches. Okay, so coming to the dining part. So for this, if you're having this one single cup hang, oh, okay, a single cup hang light, so that would be great. And coming to the dining area, so when you have some particular plan with dining all furniture details, you can just uh, search the type of lighting suitable for the dining area. So nowadays, everyone prefers a particular pattern of lighting, which is that whenever you see dining area, you can see a particular pattern of lighting everywhere nowadays. Is that ceiling light or hanging light? Means ceiling recessed light or hanging light? Hanging light, yeah. So it's actually a pattern because everyone is following that pattern. I can show you some pictures. Dining area lighting ideas. So you can see in this picture, you can see three hanging lights along the length of the table. So there is no ceiling fan here. Okay, as you can see, there is no ceiling fan, only hanging lights. Some kind of decorative hanging lights. Should be create a good mood for the ambience. So in everywhere you can see this hanging lights. So I have just typed dining area lighting ideas, but all this shows the hanging light itself. Okay, so obviously the client also suggested a hanging light here. Okay, so you can provide either 2 or 3 hanging light along with the length of this dining table, or one particular long pendant or long hanging light. Okay, so whichever. Okay, as per your idea. Okay, so here we'll be providing the ceiling fan, sorry, wall fan, where we can provide the wall fan and air conditioning unit. Here you can't keep the wall fan. This area you will be providing an air conditioning unit. So how do you suggest a air supply here? Like you can't provide a ceiling fan. Wall fan also become issue here because of the space shortage. So how do you suggest to get an air supply, proper air supply here? Any other option to get the air supply? Standing fans. Standing fans is a good option because here, as you can see, the central part will be good for the wall fan, right? The central part or this particular central part. Because this area, central part is having a opening to the kitchen. Okay, so you can't provide a wall fan here. Here also, we are having a window. Above the window, you will be having a air conditioning indoor unit. So this space is being used. This space you can't provide a wall fan. So better option is like you can provide a better, what we say, tower fan. Tower fans will be good looking for the space, and you can get enough air supply also. Okay, and another option is like you can provide a wall fan on this particular area, but it will not get sufficient air supply to this area. Or another option is to you can provide a wall fan here and you can provide a wall fan here, but it will make that kitchens and dining pantry unit interior, what the client have intended will be changing if you are placing 2 wall fan on each side. Okay, so the dining common wash area, you can provide some lights also depending on the interior ideas. Same, you can just Google some washing area lighting it is. There you will be getting some pictures. Along with that, you can provide type of lighting things. It will bring smoke from kitchen, which what when how it will bring smoke. I mean, if you're providing wall fan on this side, right? Yeah, if you are providing fan on this particular area, it will bring smoke. Obviously, there will be less smoke only because since you are having separate kitchen here, you'll be having a separate kitchen for, yeah, if wall fan near to kitchen, yeah, obviously it will bring smoke. If it is having some kind of smoke in this kitchen area, it will bring smoke. So it is better to provide floor standing fan or tower fan. Okay, the common wash area. The client suggested to provide geyser also near to the wash area. So he suggested to provide instant geyser. So what is the difference between storage geyser and instant geyser? Instant geyser comes in a compact size. Okay, storage heater will be having huge size comparing to the capacity, like 30 liter, 20 liter. You can't place that storage geyser near the dining wash area. So client suggested to provide uh, instant geyser. So the instant geyser's electrical load was around 5.6 kW. Okay, 5.6 kW. Smoke will be less because the hood will be, yeah, smoke will be less. Obviously, there is a hood. In case if the hood is not taking the smoke also, like there is a possibility. But anyway, they have a separate kitchen for the what we say fire smoke areas and all chimney. Okay, so they will be having less time for cooking in this particular kitchen area. They will be cooking heavy dishes and all this area. Okay, so that is not an issue actually. And in case if it is a issue, they can provide mechanical ventilation also, not an issue. Okay. So instant geyser. So I was discussing about the instant geyser. So instant geyser is having an electrical load around 5.6 kW, 5,600 watts. So I just go through the electrical equipments catalog the client have provided. So this one is Hobe actually. It does not need much electrical power actually. Just for the ignition, it would need some power like a maximum 50 watts, something like that. So Hobe does not need electrical load. It does need some electrical for the ignition only. So you can just provide a 6 ampere socket for the Hobe. And this is actually the refrigerator he was planning to provide. So you can see that this is Bosch. The total electrical wattage is only connecting rating is only coming around 100 watts, something like that. Not that to check all details. The ampere rating they have mentioned is 10 ampere, so we can provide a 16 ampere socket for the refrigerator. Okay, so you need to check the location for the refrigerator, so that you need to understand whether you can provide the switch and socket together or you need to provide it separately. Okay, anyway, the connection rating is mentioned as 100 watts only. The current rating they have mentioned is 10 ampere, so that is actually standard rating. Okay, so based on the connection rating, it would not take 10 ampere, but since the working is actually like difference on the cooling methods, if you increase the temperature, it would consume more energy. Okay, so that is biased. As the rating they have mentioned 10 ampere, so it is better to provide a 16 ampere socket for the refrigerator, but the rating you can consider nearly around 300 to 50 watts only. Okay, so this is actually the kitchen hood. So Siemens, the product is Siemens, and here the air Siemens value is provided, and the wattage is coming around 265 watts. So as we have discussed, it's coming around 200 to 300 watts. So here also you would need a 6 ampere socket only. Okay, this is a dishwasher. The dishwasher's electrical load is coming around 2400. Yeah, it will be okay. 13 ampere socket will be okay for the refrigerator. Nowadays we also Indian standards also using 13 ampere international sockets. So people are choosing 13 ampere socket also for the refrigerators. Even for iron boards also they use 13 ampere socket. But as per the standards, it is recommended to provide 16 ampere socket for the iron boards. Refrigerator, which is not an issue, I think. You can provide 13 ampere or 10 ampere. So this is a dishwasher's load, electrical load for the dishwasher. So which socket you would be preferring here for the dishwasher? The load is 2400. So just calculate the current consumption based on the 2000. 32 ampere is not necessary, I think. Switch you can provide 32 ampere. Socket, No need to provide 30 amperes. What will be the current consumption, exact current consumption, if it is 2400 watts? Yeah, I think it is coming around 13 ampere. Okay, so 13 ampere is somewhat closer to the 16 ampere rating. So it is better to provide a 20 ampere socket. In some cases, the voltage is fluctuating, and if you're not getting exact amount of voltage supply, then the current will be different. Or if the voltage is small, the current will be different. So 13 point something ampere is the actual value you're getting if you're considering the, but this particular equipment will be also having some power factor and all. So taking a 16 ampere socket would be somewhat risky. So in that case, you can take a 20 ampere socket. Okay. So 16 ampere, 20 ampere socket would be good for this dishwasher. So this is actually this one is the induction cooktop, I think. If calculated current is coming around 10 ampere, then 16 ampere socket would be okay. Hope front induction. Okay, this is actually the hope front, not an the oven. I think this is the oven. Here the total connected load electric is 3.65 kW. So which socket would be better for this oven? 3.65 kW. So in this particular project, the client shared all the equipment details that he's planning to purchase. So that is why we are actually able to provide all the specified sockets accordingly. Otherwise, we will be providing generally 16 ampere socket in all the kitchen area. We know exact location for the equipments and exact electrical load details. So that is why we are able to provide all this. In some project, you will not be getting all these details. So we have to assume the equipment location and you have to provide the sockets accordingly. Okay. So oven load is the microwave oven. 900 watts is the load. So 16 ampere would be okay. Washing machine. So can you identify the connected load and which socket would be enough? Sixteen ampere, okay. 16 ampere or 20 ampere. So based on the electric load, 16 ampere or 20 ampere. Okay, fine. So they have mentioned the energy consumption also per hour. If you're using 5.44 units, it will be consuming. If you're using both the wash and dry at full load. If it is only for wash, it will be consuming around less than 1 unit. Since for 16 ampere socket, you can provide either 16 ampere switch or 20 ampere, 25. Depends upon the type of equipment. If you're providing 16 amperes, that would be a single pole switch. I think it would be good if you provide a DP switch for high powered equipments, DP switch. Okay. And nowadays 20 amperes which also have DP switches. 20 ampere ratings also have DP switches. So 20 ampere would be good for the 16 ampere switches. Or else you can provide directly 16 ampere switch itself. And for this particular equipments, it would be good if you provide 16 ampere switch with indicator switches. So that switch should be having indications. If you are turned on, you'll be getting some indication that the equipment is turned on. Especially if you're providing separate switches. Okay. It is actually repeating. Okay, fine. So coming back to our drawing. So in this kitchen area, you have to check the interior details. So based on the interior detail, you have to provide the provisions or sockets for the equipments. Okay, so here the refrigerator, you can see the interior plan. The refrigerator is actually somewhat concealed, looks concealed. You can see the refrigerator at the right end, and if you check the elevation, you can see the refrigerator is actually looks concealed, right? So how do you provide switch and socket together or switch and socket separately? Okay, so so which location do you prefer for the distribution board? Okay, so these questions and all, these queries and all will be asking in the RFI because the client has to suggest the location for the distribution board. Okay, so how many numbers of TBs you expected to provide in this residential building? We are having 2 floors. So we are having some huge equipment in the kitchen area, and all rooms will be having 16 ampere sockets for air conditioners or 16 ampere socket for the vacuum cleaners. So almost electrical load, you can expect the electrical load. So can you guess the electrical load, exact electrical load that we calculated for the residential building? It is coming around 4,000 square feet. So this building is coming around 4,000 square feet. I will show the load calculation. Anyway, can you just guess the electrical load for this residential building? Like the ground floor is coming around 3,000 and first floor is coming around 1,000 something. I think so. 45 kW. Okay, fine. Any other guess? 30 kW. Fine. Anyway, we can cross check the electrical load for this building. So, can you suggest some location for the distribution board and the number of or type of distribution board in this building? And one more thing, this actually this building is automated, so the client does not need manual switches for this. But as far as now, we can go with the manual switches for discussion, so we can ignore the automation part. Okay, in reality, they had an automation DB also. Okay, so you can ignore that part. But apart from that, how many number of DBs will be required here for this residential building? How do you suggest for each floor or each area? How do you suggest? Number of distribution boards, total number of distribution board for the building? Total 4. Can you specify each one? Yeah, main DBs and sub panels. So how many sub panels would be there? And main DB, we would need only one. So okay, light DB, power DB, kitchen DB, ground floor DB. Okay, light DB, power DB, kitchen DB in the ground floor. Fine, fine, fine. Kitchen may have a different DB. Yes, yes. Light and power DB. That means I think that means total 5 DBs, right? For Adil, light DB, power DB, kitchen DB in ground floor. That means total 3. Then again, light and power DB in first floor. So total 5 distribution board. That means 5 sub panels. Okay, light DB, power DB, kitchen DB, ground floor. That means three, right? Oh, light and power combined. Okay, fine. Light and power combined DB in the first floor. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So where do you suggest the main DB and all these sub DBs location? Can you tell the main DB and sub DBs location? So this is the ground floor. This is the first floor. So start from, you can start from the ground floor. For ground floor kitchen DB, you can provide it in the kitchen area itself, right? Either in the work area or the kitchen area. Kitchen area is not having sufficient space to accommodate the DB. So you can provide in the kitchen work area here. Okay, so remaining we have two DBs, that is ground floor LDB and ground floor PDB, where we can provide the ground floor LDB and PDB. Staircase, yes. So this provision is actually can provide some DBs here. So this area is coming under the staircase part. So it is not getting much view here. So you can provide DBs here, the LDB and PDB here. Near veranda, walk close to you mean this area, right? This area, right? Passage area, I think that would not be good. Look. Anyway, you can't provide near veranda. I mean, this area is actually open. And coming to the closed space, this area it gives some premium feeling, a luxurious feeling. You can't provide DBs in a formal living area. The client will not be approving that. Passage also, it will not look good since it is having some normal people will be passing all ways. So DB's location would not be looking good in that area. Here we having a window. Here we have some short space here. So I think as for Adil said, this is a better space to provide the distribution board. Okay, this area. This area will not having sufficient space because since the stair is starting from this part. So either this part or this part. This here we having window. So this one will be the better space for the LDB and PDB. Okay. So what about the main DB? Which type of DB we require for the main DB? Bus bar panel board or the VTP DB? Which one would be suggest and where you can locate it or accommodate it? Main DB could be VTPN. Okay, fine. Main DB you can provide main DB as VTPN DB where we can locate it, place it. Ground floor we don't have sufficient space, right? This area will be fully accommodated with the LDB and PDB. And this main DB would be like what we say, how many number of ways would we need for the VTP and DB? Already we have to provide 4 sub DBs, right? So can you suggest the number of way for the VTP and DB? 6 way would be required. So 6 way VTP and DB means the dimension of 6 way would be like 80 centimeter into 100 centimeter, something like that. So it will be like having a large, it will take some large space. So anyway, ground floor will not have enough space anywhere. Otherwise, you have to provide a panel board, customized panel board outside the building separately with the locking facilities. Okay, so that is another option. So as per the client's information, we actually place the main DB here on this particular wall, on the staircase, under the staircase, this part. So from this DB, you have to take the what we say cables individually to the LDB, PDB, and the kitchen DB. So here we have located the main DB, and here the LDB, PDB, and kitchen DB here. First floor DB we have provided, I think, around this part, this area. Okay, so from this main DB we need to provide conduits for the what we say. What was Nadir asking on Friday? First floor. You mean we can discuss first floor on Friday or something, anything, any other you are telling? Okay, fine. Okay, now anyway, I will show the actual arrangements for this particular plan. So how do you suggest to prepare the drawing? Like we are going to prepare the ground floor. Yeah, conduits for feeder cables to DBs. Yeah, and also from the DB also you have to prepare the conduits. So anyway, I will show that. Before that, for preparing this electrical drawing, do you think this will look complicated if you prepare the lighting and power drawing together? I mean, in the single drawing, you are going to prepare the lighting outlets or lighting layout and the power outlets. So lighting layout and power outlet together. So what do you think? This will look complicated or this will be okay? Like why we can prepare both the lighting and power together? How do you suggest that? By seeing the furniture layout or by seeing the equipments listed, do you think the person who is actually using the drawing for the construction, he might get confused? I think especially for the ground floor, if you are preparing the lighting and power layout together, separate will be separate would be looking good, right? Yeah, so we can prepare separate lighting and power layout for this ground floor. First floor, I think it is not that much issue. Okay, so if you can prepare the lighting and power layout separately, that would be good. So we can, and also we have separate LDB, right? So that is not an issue. We have separate LDB and separate PDB. Okay, so first floor, if you prepare the lighting and power layout, I think there is no much issues, since we are only having one bedroom and a one home theater room. Remaining are common areas. Okay, so the first floor it would be fine, but ground floor it is recommended to prepare the lighting and power layout as per this interior drawing. Okay, I'm not saying about all the drawings. In some clients used to say like we don't need a separate lighting and power because they need to check individually lighting drawing and power layout. So some clients or some architects will be saying you prepare the lighting and power together in a single drawing. So it depends upon the people. Okay, but for an electrician it would be useful, for the contractor it would be useful if you get the lighting and power layout separately. Okay, anyway, I will show the drawings that we have prepared for the client. 1 minute. So this is the lighting layout based on the false ceiling layout. This hashed area is actually the false ceiling plan. Okay, so you can see many number of lights. The veranda, there is two ceiling lights. In the center they have provided ceiling fan, and this is actually floor recessed light. floor recessed light. Okay, which will be acting as an uplight. Should be lighting up this particular wall area. Like in the center part, you can see a chandelier light with three lights on this part and two lights together for above the coffee table, and curve lights or LED strip lights along with the ceiling plan. You can see that two LED curve light is going around. Here we have provided a wall fan. Here also we have provided a wall fan. This particular area have two down lights, and along with that, along with the ceiling plan, we have provided a curve light, LED strip lights. Okay, coming to the dining area. Yeah, ceiling fan in veranda. Normally, people will be the guests will be coming and sitting at this area. So that we have provided a ceiling fan with a lesser sweep. The sweep would be around 900 or something. So ceiling fan is required in veranda area. Here you can see this is a pendant light, a straight pendant light or hanging light. Exactly almost equal to the length of the dining space. If this drawing is actually making complicated, you can just turn off the hatch or you can just delete the hatch. Okay, you can just keep the layer off so that the electrician would be able to understand the drawing easily. Okay, so this is actually done as per the ceiling plan. That is why we are keeping the ceiling plan along with the drawing. Okay, here also you can see the ceiling plan. So this particular area is having a false ceiling. Remaining they don't need a false ceiling. So you can see pendant light along with the bedside tables, and remaining at least four light fixtures or 6 light fixtures. Okay, so this is actually prepared this plan based on the interior details. So we already got the interior elevation, all other details, and some input from the client and some input from the interior team. So based on that, we have provided this particular light fixtures or location. So they will be suggesting some location. They will be pointing out the number of light required. Okay, so you just need to provide the type exact light fixtures suitable to this particular room, and you can do the remaining outlets. Also here we have provided mechanical switches. So the client was actually specific. He was telling like how many number of light fixtures, sockets or switches are provided in the left hand side of the bed. Exactly, it should be equal to the right hand side. Means here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 module. Here also you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 module. Okay, so in this particular plan, you cannot see a socket because that will be coming under the power layout. So same room, if you take the same room, you can see the power outlet drawing. Here we have one switch and socket. Here we have one USB socket and along with the switch. Okay, so this switchboard's height will be lesser than the lighting layouts. So to make this understand, we will be marking it in the elevation drawing. You can see that 45 centimeters switch and socket at a 45 centimeter height, and you have mentioned the distance from the wall also 88 centimeter. And this particular 6 module socket switchboard is coming at 60 centimeter height. The distance from wall is equal 88 centimeter. So this one is 6 module. This one is 3 module. So the electrical contract not be having any doubts regarding the height of the switchboard, distance from the wall, because all details are we have been provided, and the switchboard module also. So he will be having good information regarding the switchboard boxes. So he need to provide the metal box inside the wall, right? So from this drawing, he'll be getting all the details. He just need to refer this drawing. So he'll be getting the height, distance from the wall, then the switchboard module details. Okay. And this one is actually other side of the bed. So this one is having a socket and USB socket. This one is exactly the same 6 module switchboard. Okay, this is elevation for the bed area. That is why you can see some spotlights along with the bed wall or master bedroom bed cords. Okay. So this one I was actually having in the interior drawing itself. We haven't provided all the spotlights. This one actually having in the interior drawing. And This is actually coming inside the cupboard. Okay, this one has actually an input from the client. The client told he need 2 sockets inside the wardrobe area. So this was his idea. You can see that here, 2 sockets at different heights. We have specified the height from the floor. Okay, for this we need to provide the height from the floor only. By referring, you will think that you can provide the height from this particular drawer. No, because at the initial stage there will be no drawer or no cabinets. So you have to specify the height from the floor and from the nearest wall. Okay, so it would come like this inside the dressing cabinets, because you're having a mirror here. So in any way, if you are using a hair dryer or something like that, you need some socket provisions. Okay, fine. Then for the mirror area, we have provided a socket here, mirror lighting. Sorry, all shaver socket, something like that. The lighting layout, if you check, you can see spot LED. You have provided a LED coagulating along with the mirror. Okay, and the exhaust fan, 2 lights just above the countertops, and the switchboards are also provided here. And separate 2 light fixtures for the bathtub area and just a showering area. And here you can see a recessed wall light, just equal to same as the fruit lamps. During the night times, you can turn it on. You'll be having 2 or 3 watts consumption. The height of 20 centimeter or 25 centimeter. Okay. So the rooms will be exactly same to other rooms also. Kitchen area, we have provided a ceiling fan. Work area also, we have provided a ceiling fan. And this client was specifically, he told that he need all the switchboard details, how the switch is actually controlling all the equipments connected in the residential building. So we have actually prepared a switchboard details for this particular project. I can show you that 1 minute. So you can see, as per the switchboard details, SP 1.1, this is actually one-way bell push switch, height of the switchboard, module size. SP 2.2, 6 ampere socket for the wall fan. The module is recommended. The height is also written here. So if the electrician is taking the printout of this particular switchboard details, you get all the details. If you're taking former living room, okay, SB03. So in SPC, what is the components? One way switch, 6 ampere combination USB socket with 6 ampere socket. Okay, so the switchboard is actually 4 module. Height is coming on 65 centimeter. Okay, 3.1 telephone unit, SP 3.2, one way switch for 6 ampere socket. Okay, and SP 4.2 DP switch for AC 32 ampere. Height is 120 centimeter. And next, coming to the passage, SB08, the height is at 20 centimeter, 3 module switchboard. Okay, so all the switchboards have been listed here. Here yesterday, I have shown you a resort project, right? So for that project also, we have prepared switchboard details for each floors we have prepared. So that is actually somewhat time consuming to prepare switchboard details, but it would be good if you could prepare the details, so the electrician would get all the details, the electrical contractor will get all the details regarding the switchboard, so there will be no confusion. So you can just show that drawing also. So this was the electrical plan that we have prepared. So you can see number of switchboards for each room. Okay, if you take the ground floor, Take the ground floor, you can see SP05, SP08, SP10, 10A, 10B, 11, 11A. All these details we have prepared the switchboard details. Okay. You can see basement, ground, first floor, second floor. If you take the ground floor, you can see foyer, toilet, bedroom one. All these details have been mentioned here. SV08, what all things are coming in SV08, the module, the height, the details, and the coming in the control details. One way switch for 6 ampere socket, one way switch for RL01, RL02, RL03, RL04, something like that. Okay. So in this particular plan, you can also see the controlling details for the electrical fixtures. So this is actually the legend for two-way switch. This one also two-way switch. This one is single-way switch. This two-way switch is actually controlling these two. So already we have provided the switchboard details. In the switchboard details, you will be getting all the specific height, switches controlling each equipment, and also you'll be providing the control switches, control wiring. So this is actually design part of a design drawing. In the initial drawing, we will not be providing the control details or schedule drawing. We will only provide the layout. Which means you will not have the connection drawings. Okay. After approving the drawing, we'll be preparing the load schedule. Okay. So based on the load schedule, balanced condition, we would need to prepare a schedule drawing, then the control wiring, then finally the single line diagram. Okay. So this client was actually asking for the material quantity. Now for the bill of quantity, he is asking the material quantity. Material quantity will be specifying the equipment's numbers, details. Now, no need to mention the supply, installation, commission details. We will be specifying, because if you take this bill of quantity and if you go to a shop, the shopkeeper will not be able to understand the details specified, because that we have prepared for taking the proposal from a contractor, like supply, installation, commissioning, one switch using one light, one point, like point varying details. So if you submit all these details in a shop, he will not be able to understand. To submit or to take the materials from a shop, we need to provide the material quantity or bill of material. Okay. So for this project, I'll show the material quantity. This one is details of cables only. Okay. Wiring details. So 1 square mm FRPVC insulated copper wire 90-meter coil, 2 numbers. So if you submit this particular Excel file or this particular format in a shop, the person who can understand this format and he can quote the rate. Okay. For the same, for the distribution board also, for all equipments also, you can specify in a format, in the bill of material format. Okay, no need to mention supply, installation, commissioning. You need to mention the specifications of the wires and quantity and the brand or the model. Okay. The DBs also I can show you that one. This is actually the material quantity with the final price. So first DB 6-way VTP and DB ground floor, and 8-way VTP and MCBDB, 8-way DP and MCBDB, base selector, 8-way TP and MCBDB, 8-way SP and MCBDB inverter, 6-way VTP and MCCBDB main panel. You can see the price. 5,000 rupees, something like that goes on. Total price coming around 65,000 rupees. Okay, so this is actually the price details. Okay, so this one is actually the material quantity for distribution boards alone. Okay, so we can prepare the SLD, so we can prepare this POQ or material quantity for DB only after completing the SLD. Okay, only after finalizing all the details, we'll be preparing the SLD. Based on that final SLD, we have to prepare the final quantity. You can see initial and final. Initial quantities, final as per the SLD. Some breakers have been changed, some has been omitted. Okay, so all the specific description you can see. Okay. So this one is actually the schedule drawing. Okay, this socket, and all the sockets coming in the R2 phase, bedroom 1 PCKT1, ground floor PDB. Okay, and this particular socket for air conditioner coming under the Y2 phase, GF PDB, and all the sockets coming inside the formal living area, under the B2 phase, B phase, and circuit number B2, and this one coming under the B1. Okay, so this we can prepare this only after the balanced condition. So generally we will be preparing the electrical layout drawings. Then after getting the approval, if there is no corrections or if there is no suggestions, you will be approving the drawing. The client will be approving the drawing. Then you need to prepare the load schedule. Okay, so after preparing the load scheduling, like after getting the balanced condition, you can start the control wiring or the phase wiring. Okay, then finally you can prepare the SLD. Then you can complete it by preparing the material quantity or something like that. Okay, so for this particular DB, you can see the final conditions. 8-way TPN GF PDB. Total load is 17 kW, 17.23 kilowatt. 8-way TPN FFTB. Total load is coming around 14 kW. 8-way TPN PDB is coming at 22 kilowatt for X. Especially for the PDB kitchen DB alone, 22 kilowatt, and 6-way VTP and GF LTP coming around 5,000. Total load is coming around 60 kW. Okay, so after preparing the number of DBs and each DBs are getting balanced, you can start preparing the phase wiring, then the control wiring. Control wiring, I think it is clear, right? Just need to represent the which switch is controlling which equipments. Okay, so that is the next step. Then finally SLD. So SLD for residential building, it will be very easy. So show that. Six-way VTP and MCCPD. Three-phase supply from Kerala State Electricity Board, 4-core 70 square mm AYFAY. So after reaching the first 4-pole MCCB, it has been changed to 3.5 core 35 square mm unarmored copper cable. This is actually going underground. That is why we have taken a full armored cable. From this particular MCCB, it is actually going in the terrace area. That is why we have taken a unarmored cable. Okay, and surge protected device, we have provided a surge protected device, a common stabilizer. Why do we need a common stabilizer for a any kind of building. Why we have provided a common stabilizer? What is the purpose? How can we select a common stabilizer? Yes, to regulate the voltage. If this particular location is having voltage fluctuation, we might need to consider a common stabilizer. So 50 kVA common stabilizer is because based on the maximum demand, we have taken the 50 kVA. Based on the actual load, it would be coming around 60 kVA. But here we have taken based on the maximum demand. That is why we have provided a 50 kVA stabilizer. Because anyway, this much of load will not be running at a time. That is sure. Okay, because the occupants for this building is around maximum six numbers. Six numbers. Out of that, two are kids. Okay, so at a time, anyway, we will not be turning all the electrical equipments. The connected load would be 59 kilowatt. Obviously, how do you think that for practical condition, or how much do you expect for the maximum demand? Not per the theory. As per the theory, you can consider 20 kW because you can take only diversity factor as 2, maximum diversity factor as 2. So if you are getting 60 kW, that means you have to take the maximum demand as 30 kW. But practically, how much do you expect for the peak time, the maximum demand? 30 kW, yeah, 30 kW. How you will be means how you assume the 30 kW load? What all equipments will be turned on during a peak hours? Kitchen and AC working. Okay, kitchen. Even though if you take the kitchen, only one or two equipment will be turned on at a time. I think, I believe. You might not be using washing machine. You might not be using dishwasher. You might not be using what we say microwave all at a time. I expect maximum 15 kW. Yeah, hardly 15 kW maximum. That would be the peak demand. I'm telling about the practical condition. Okay, considering I'm expecting if I am using that building, but if so many guests are there, all rooms AC has been turned on and the kitchen is continuously working. So in that case, you can expect a 20-25 kW electrical load at the time. Normally, for a four persons occupying that building, you can maximum 15 kW will be the demand. So the 50 kVA common stabilizer will be enough for this particular residential. So can you guess the price for the 50 kVA stabilizer? How much price it would be having for a 50 kVA stabilizer? What about if it is Schneider? 2 lakh. 2 lakh is, I think, it is very high price. Yeah, it will be coming around actually 100,000 rupees or 1 lakh rupees. Okay, even if it is Schneider, okay, is that your currency, right? 400 KLN. Yeah, anyway, the actual price was actually coming around, the company was actually Fuji Electric, 400 for 400, 4 lakh. I think the actual price for this 50 kVA stabilizer was coming around 1 lakh Indian rupees, 100,000. Okay, even if it is Schneider, it will be coming around 1.5, something like that. Okay, so that is not mandatory because you can suggest the common stabilizers for the stabilizing the voltage. So it will be based on the building's load. So coming to the MCCDB. So again, the MCCDB is having what we say, MCSPay, VTP and MCCDB having a MCCB estimator. So in this particular DB, you cannot provide any other breakers other than the MCC breaker. You can't provide MCB breaker here because this DB is actually an MCCB DB. So it comes with the provision for the MCCDB. No other breakers will be suitable for this particular DB. If you want to provide MCB, you have to specify it as SysWay VTP and MCB DB. Okay, for VTP and DB, we have two provisions, MCCB DB and MCB DB. Okay, so this one is actually an MCCB DB. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 main outgoings: ground floor PDB, kitchen PDB, ground floor DB, first floor DB, and this one is actually UPS DB, online UPS and a line interactive UPS. Okay, online both we have provided from a single pole MCB breaker. Okay, online UPS and line interactive UPS. So from this online UPS, we will be using 25 ampere or 16 ampere socket for the charging. That is actually feeding from the main panel single pole MCB breaker. Okay, so it is actually feeding the UPS DB. Okay, if you take the UPS DB's SLD, you can understand that. So in this particular UPS DB, we are having 16-way SPN MCBDB, 16-way SPN MCBDB. Out of that, two-way is specifically provided for the home theater and automation rack because it needs continuous supply without interruption. The home theater and the automation rack. This is actually line interactive UPS. That means only when there is power failure, it will be getting activated. Okay. So you can see master bedroom PCKT1, corridor plus living plus patio plus power circuit 1, bedroom 1 power circuit 1, dining plus bed 2 common toilet power circuit 1, common living power circuit, fridge, mixer, emergency lights in automation DB, ground floor. So all the emergency lights comes under the this particular breaker, and we have provided a 16 ampere breaker. We will be providing a 2.5 mm square wire. This one is actually for. So the lighting, for the lighting alone, we have provided 3 separate breakers. Two breakers. Remaining all are power outlets, means socket outlets, important socket outlets. Okay. So the ground floor PDB, 8-way TPN MCBDB, we have listed all the important breakers: 10 ampere, 10 ampere, 32 ampere. Okay. R3 is 32 ampere. I think, I believe this one is actually for the instant geyser. That is why we have provided a 32 ampere MCB break. Okay. Why 20 ampere, 20 ampere, 20 ampere? We also 20 ampere, 10 ampere. Okay. So this is how we prepare SLD after completing the phase wiring and control wiring. Okay. So coming to our yesterday's drawing, if you could see this, we'll be having some doubts, right? So we can discuss that part now. This is actually a small building, ground floor and first floor. So you'll be having some queries, right? You can ask that, or we can discuss this drawing right now. So you can prepare either in AutoCAD or in rough paper. You start with the veranda area. Do you prefer ceiling fans here, or the client is preferring ceiling fans here? You can ask that. Okay. So any queries regarding this particular drawing? Like you can ask on-grid solar is required or not. You can ask like that. On-grid solar is required. If required, where we can provide solar panels. There is no roof plan here. So you can expect to provide in the open terrace area. I think open terrace area or above this particular roof, but there is no roof plan, only ground floor and first floor plan is provided. So you can ask for the roof plan. If there is no roof plan, you can just assume. Okay. So you can ask some queries like that. Any other questions related to that? It's TV point is provided here. So as we have seen in the earlier drawing, two sets of chair in the sitting room. Sitting room. Actually, this is actually a partition. So this one is a family living. This one is a living area. So for guests will be using this space when they arrive and sitting. This one is actually having some small partition. Either they will be having some curtains. Here they have some pillar type fixtures here. So this area will not be directly accessible. Okay, that is why they have provided. They will be providing some partition, curtain, something like that. Okay. Yeah, you can provide to TV. That will be good because if family members are only sitting in this area, I think you can provide a TV provision here on this wall. So you can prepare a list of questions. Actually, I have attached a RFI yesterday. That way you can see. So you can see a pattern of questions. So some patterns can be useful for you also. You can ask the same questions. Can you suggest location for distribution board here? Or you can ask that directly. Do you have any recommended location for distribution board? You have any recommended location for inverter? So as thinking from the client side, you are the client here. So which location? How many number of TVs you are recommending for the whole building or each floor? You can just think about that. How many number of DBs are required? 2 dB for ground floor. That is like, can I use our standard layout like lighting control layout to this? Lighting comma control layout to the same power. Yeah, you can do it like that way. Lighting and power control separately, no issues. 2 dB for ground floor. Okay, that is LDB and PDB, right? Because kitchen we don't need separate dB. Kitchen is having only small space and equipment details are not provided. So you can assume the location. Okay. So 2 dBs for a ground floor. Okay, fine. Where you can provide the dBs? So still staircase, yeah, you can provide it in this staircase. So that is finalized. And what about inverter location? You need to provide an inverter, right? And you need to charge the inverter also. So where you can find the location for inverter? Location for inverters. Same place, yeah. You can provide it under the staircase area, right? This particular area, you can use it for the inverters. So do you prefer a separate TB for inverter, or you will be feeding it from the, what we say, directly to the LDB? How you are planning? Do you need a separate DB? In the previous project, we had a separate DB for inverter. So individual breakers will be feeding to the each emergency points or in emergency switchboards. You can that you can finalize later. Just give a hint, okay. And kitchen dining area, you'll be providing some lighting, and you don't have a site plan here, so you can just provide some CCTV cameras just outside the all four sites. Okay. So do you prefer what to say, emergency? So you have considered the uh, DB location. So where you're going to provide a energy meter, energy meter. So this energy meter should have an access for the people who come to take the reading. So where you gonna place energy meter? So from the energy meter to the distribution board, you have to lay a conduit considering the location. Outside, okay, outside you will be placing either on the left or right hand side, right? So you can provide energy meter here, right? So which is, but this is actually close to the toilet, so it is not good. We are providing the distribution board here, right? So either on this side of the wall you can provide with a cabinet. Under veranda means this space, no, I don't think this space would be good for placing the energy meter. The person will be coming and or standing over the veranda area and he have to take the reading. I think either this side, because on the frontage area it is better not to keep the energy meter. It will not look good. Okay. Yeah, we have to provide a cabinet. Then only we will be having the option for the waterproof. We have to provide a cabinet with IP43 rating or IP, and we'll be having a sunshade also above this cabinet. If there is no provision for getting the weatherproof, then you have to consider location, just like as Adil told, you have to provide under the veranda. But in providing in the veranda area, obviously that will not look good, because we'll be highlighting those space with the up and down lights and all. So if you are providing energy meters there, then you can just take the wall and you can provide a concealed energy meter here. Okay. But also some issues like that, it is just behind the bedroom, but that is not an issue. It will be like concealed, and you'll be providing a cabinet here. Okay, person should have an access. That is a main important thing. Otherwise you can provide out in this one. Anyway, so anyway, outside the building, just find out some location, you can provide the location. And finally, after completing the layout, we have to prepare the contour drawing also. Have you seen any conduit drawing, or do you have an idea how to prepare the conduit drawing? The main purpose of the conduit drawing is to make sure that all conduits are laid before the plastering works. So through the walls, it is not important to prepare the conduit drawing. So mainly you need to prepare the conduiting through the ceiling. So main important points is like from the distribution board to energy meter, the conduit is necessary, because from the from the energy meter, you need to pull over the main cable or the main lines to the distribution board. So if you forget to lay down the conduits in future or after completion, you have to uh, get more civil works to pull the main conduit. Okay, so before plastering, if you could finalize the location for energy meter and DB, then you can lay down the conduits. If the cable is coming around 25 square mm, just imagine if the cable is coming around 25 square mm, would be able to place injection percent conduit and so. Yeah, important area. So I can just show you a conduit drawing that we have prepared. I can just show you for the resort project. 1 minute. So you need to provide separate conduit drawing for LV also, CCTV, intercom. So what about if there is false ceiling, there is not an issue to pull out the cable. You can take a cable tray or cable trunking between the main ceiling and false ceiling. But what if there is no false ceiling in the building and you need to pull 25 square mm 25 square cable to the main db. So main db is located near to the staircase. So how are you going to pull this cable? It's 25 square mm. The cable size is 25 square mm. I mean, just imagine the same drawing we are discussing about the energy meter location, right? Okay, I will just draw it 1 minute. So here we are providing the energy meter. Okay, we are providing the energy meter, and our main DB is located here. So from this particular energy meter, the incomer size is 25 square mm. Okay, so this incomer size is 25 square mm. Normally, for the normal case, we'll be laying a conduit through this ceiling until here, until this wall. So you can pull the wire through the ceiling or the ceiling conduit, concealed pipe. So this is coming around 25 square mm. So how you will be able to pull the, can we provide a 50 pipe for a residential building roof plastering? I'm asking about the roof, okay, roof or the ceiling. Yes, it is not possible. You can provide maximum 25 maximum 25 is, yeah, underground is the solution. So you need to identify the cable size, the incomer size, then you need to provide the pipe through underground. So you can provide a 50 pipe underground. Okay, if the pipe is crossing a limit, like crossing the limit, for example, the energy meter is located outside, okay, on a compound wall, then you need to provide manholes here. Here also you need to provide a manhole. Okay, just in case if it is crossing a particular limit like 30 meters, more than 30 meters, and at the entry point and the starting point, you need to provide a manhole. The cable is running underground. But here I'm just saying from here to here, you just directly provide the underground cable to the DB. Okay, so then you can provide a 50 pipe. So if you are having plinth beams to being constructed here, plinth beams, before the concreting of plinth beam, you have to consider the laying of this pipe. So you need to check the drawing. You need to understand initially all these things in the RFI while preparing the RFI. And you have to also ask about the nearest electrical utility pole. For example, if the utility pole is located here near to this building, utility pole is located here. So from the utility pole, we will be feeding the service wire. We call it a service wire. Okay, from the government authority, we will be calling it a service wire. So we'll be feeding this cable to energy meter directly. So this will be hanging from the electrical pole to this building. This will be hanging. So some clients will be planning, they doesn't want any hanging cables to their building. So what is the solution? As per our standards, this cable should be visible. Visible means you cannot take it underground. Do you know the reason? From the energy meter till the, sorry, from the utility pole till the energy meter, you can't take cable through underground. Do you know the reason? Can you guess the reason? Why is energy meter not shown on this LD? Road crossing. Which energy meter not shown on SLD? Which SLD you are telling? The reason is actually not road crossing. If it is inside the compound itself, you can't take the cable underground until the energy meter. It is because of the tampering. Yeah, the reason is transparent for bypassing the power. Yeah, if you are taking the underground cable till what we say energy meter, so between the energy meter and utility pole, you can bypass electricity, like you can tamper the electricity. Okay, so that will not be coming under the energy meter reading. Okay, so to make sure that no one can tamper the electricity, they will be recommending until the energy meter you cannot take a cable underground. So to avoid that, you can provide the energy meter close to the utility pole, that means near your compound wall. So from that part you can take the cable underground. So even if you take even if you tamper through the underground cable, that will come under the energy meter reading. Yeah, Hassan were asking like why SLD is energy meter is not shown in SLD, right? So in this particular SLD, we have shown that it is coming from KCB. That is why we haven't shown the what we say energy meter in the SLD. I will show just another SLD for the commercial building. 1 minute. So from KCB means we mean that it is coming from the energy meter. That is why we haven't shown that. If you check this particular panel, you can see this is actually for a commercial building. You can see energy meters inside. This is actually energy meter, KWH. Okay. If you want to represent energy meter, just place this KWH legend at the incomer of our SLD. Okay. So we were discussing about the tampering of this electricity. So until what we say the energy meter, we cannot take the cable under as per the Kerala standards or KCB standards. So we need to make sure that energy meter's location is okay with this particular client, so that cable will not be visible from the energy meter to his building. Okay, coming back to the conduit drawings. So this one is the result we have been discussing. So all these light fixtures will be need to provide the junction boxes or the junction with hook. So this will need a junction with hook, right? So this has to be hanged. The ceiling fan has to be hanged over the ceiling. So you have to provide a junction with the hook. This one will need a junction box. What if it is a recessed light on a concrete ceiling? Normally on the concrete ceiling, we cannot place recessed lights, right? But up to 9 wattage LED light fixtures, we can provide recessed light fittings on the concrete ceiling, but we need to provide a special type of junction box that we call it as LED junction box. That LED junction box have the provision to access these LED light fixtures, but only up to 9 watts. Even if it is concrete, you can place that LED junction box. So that LED junction box will have a diameter which can accommodate up to a 9-watt LED light of round shape. Okay, so that is also an option to provide LED recessed lights on the concrete roof. So this one is actually having a false ceiling. Okay, so even if you forgot to provide any junction box, that is not an issue. You can take it through the ceiling, through the main ceiling and false ceiling, between the main ceiling and false ceiling. So the representation of conduit lights, conduits, this is a conduit one. You can see this, right? So these colors are representation for different conduits. You can see that. Green color, switchboard, white color to the floor, to the ceiling. Junction with hook, PVC junction box, vertical sleeve, conduit drawer, floor junction box, wall pull box. Okay. Maximum through the concrete sleeve you can take 25 mm. If you take 32 mm conduit, it'll get congested between the steel rods and the concrete mixture. So 25 mm is the maximum that you can take through the concealed pipes through the concrete ceiling. Through the ground, you can take depending upon the conditions through the ground, depending on the floor height or like through the wall. Also, there is a limit. I think there is a limit to the floor wall also. 25 mm, 32. I don't think you can take 32 mm conduit through a 20 centimeter width. Depending upon the width of the wall, you can take the plastering width. So normally for electrical drawing, you need to prepare the concept drawing, which will be having the layout only. So after getting approval, you need to prepare the conduit drawing, the design drawing, that is the control and schedule drawing. So that you have to do the load schedule. Then after finalizing all this, you have to prepare the SLD. Then finally the BOQ. Okay. So drawing I have given is like just a small building. So you can, I think within 1 day or 2 day, you can complete the full layout. Just start with the lighting layout initially. Then if you want, you can prepare the lighting and power together, or you can prepare lighting and power layout in a separate drawing, not an issue. Then try to do the schedule for at least 1 dB. Okay. Then do the schedule drawing and the control drawing. Control drawing would be very easy, right? You can just draw with the polyline how which light is connecting. So already in that drawing you have the legends. Either you can use that, you can just download the normal legends for lighting and all. So you can prepare the drawing accordingly. You have to scale the drawing. Okay, scaling means in the legends the lighting will be very small, right? For example, you can see that in the legends we have provided like this. So this is a ceiling fan. So you need to make sure that the whatever equipments you are providing in your room, it should be scaled. Means so this, when you copy the legend uh, from the legend box, you can see this much is the ceiling fan. But exactly the ceiling fan is around 120 centimeter, right, for the default sweep. So you have to make sure that this is getting 120 centimeter. So you need to scale this fan. Okay. So to scale it, just click on it, type scale command, click on the center part, reference, starting point, ending point, just type 120. So this will actually equal to 120 centimeter. So similarly, you have to make sure you are providing dimensions of these equipments accordingly. Send us the drawings with the lighting controls. Yeah, I will send a reference drawing which we have shown just before, so you can understand that. Okay. So just try to prepare the drawing. Okay, at least a small room. Then only you get to know the doubts and all. Then try to solve the sample SLD questions so that we can discuss it by tomorrow. So because our last class will be on tomorrow, right? So we can finalize all the parts or If there is any remaining doubts, we can clear that. Okay, just try to prepare the SLD and as well as this particular electrical layout. Okay, we can end today's session. Thank you. Landscape lightings, we have another electrical plan so that we can understand electric landscape lighting. So I will send a drawing which includes all this lighting. Okay, that would be better, including the landscape lights. Okay.